over there where it starts to turn from a berm into a cut. Yeah. And you can see over here where it starts to rise up. So this is where the Marylanders start to sneak around. Yeah. And then the Louisianians curve their line, or curve their line at a right angle, resist that attack out there. And that's where 400 men begin the surrendering process as pockets of surrendering happen all across the field right here.
So you got the berm here, but over to Charlestown Pike, it's the cut.
Yes. And that's where it is even right here. Like right here, it turns into a cut. And that's why that's such a significant location.
So were they on this side of the cut?
They're in the cut. Some of them do move to this side of the cut.
How deep is the cut? Yeah.
It's probably not as deep as what we see it as today, but it's, don't think of like the railroad cut at Gettysburg where it's so deep they get trapped in there. It was enough that they were able to position well.
You could stand in and see up over there.
Or at least there was enough that they can climb up and hold ground.
Even down at that end where the Charlestown Pike gets a little cut.
Yes, some of them are under the bridge, all the way then north of the bridge. Now, when that last charge happens, the Confederates then will move out to the ground just in front, or just west of the cut, and then they will countercharge, and that will start gathering up some of the captured soldiers. And that leads us to the last battle I wanted to dive in here today. I knew this was going to be I was going to have most questions on. I'm surprised nobody's raised their hands and asked about it yet. The Odyssey of Jenny Wade and Wesley Culp. That whole story, the most famous human interest story associated with Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, actually starts out here in Winchester, Virginia, of all places. Now, during that battle, we'll actually dive back even further. Before the war, there were two brothers in Adams County, Pennsylvania, the Culp's brothers, Wesley Culp and William Culp. Before the war, Wesley Culp had moved down to Frederick County, Virginia, this county in Virginia. He had joined as a teamster, and when the war began, he joined on behalf of his adopted home state of Virginia. His brother joined up as part of the 2nd Pennsylvania Infantry. He joined the 2nd Virginia Infantry, which became part of the fabled Stonewall Brigade. The 2nd Pennsylvania eventually basically turns into the 87th Pennsylvania Infantry, and they both fight on this battlefield right here. Now, after the Union have pockets of surrendering happen all across the field, you're going to have Wesley Culp go through the ranks of some of the 87th Pennsylvania. These are his childhood friends. He's scared he might run into his brother. He doesn't run into his brother. He does run into his childhood friend, Jack Skelly. Now, Jack Skelly's just received a nasty mortal wound. So he pens a letter to his fiancée, Jenny Wade. Folds the letter up, he gives it to Wesley Culp, and reportedly he tells Wesley Culp, listen, I know you guys are heading north. You make it into South Central Pennsylvania, there's a good chance that you guys make it into our hometown. If you march through our hometown, please give my dying words to my fiancée, Jenny Wade. Wesley Culp takes this letter. It is believed to be in his pocket when he is mortally wounded on Culp's Hill at Gettysburg. His uncle's property bearing his last name, the letter that was in his pocket to Jenny Wade, she becomes the only civilian casualty at the Battle of Gettysburg. That whole story of their friendship and Jack Skelly, all that starts right out here at the Second Battle of Winchester with the action out here at the Carter Farm. So next time you guys are up there at Gettysburg and you pass through Culp's Hill, or you pass by the Culp's Brother Monument that's in town, or you pass by Jenny Wade's house, remember, there's also that connection to this battlefield that you guys were at here today with that engagement at Gettysburg. Not just from the tactics and strategy and the armies moving, but even just from the human interest stories as well. So once again, I want to thank you guys for being out here today. If you guys have any questions, you can hang back and answer and ask them as much as you want. But like I said, thanks for being here. And the best way to support future programs like this and to support future preservation efforts like this is to support the Shenandoah Valley Battlefields Foundation. If you guys have any questions about that, questions about membership, or anything else with the Battlefields Foundation, feel free to come by and see me. Thank you guys for being here. First question.
My in-laws live in Kenilworth over here.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, then you have an opportunity to come back and visit and see this park expand and actually turn into a battlefield park.
And that changed hands over 20 to 25 times.
Yeah.
And that's why that one's still here and Belle Grove's still here, because they were hospitals.
Yeah. William?
Is there a timeline for the opening of this into a park? Or an estimation? I don't want to hold you down.
I'm not going to put any estimation out there. Just know, gears are moving. And this is not going to be the permanent trail. But there will be a trail system added out here very soon. And then interpretive markers will follow that. And we'll slowly build this up as the Second Winchester Battlefield Park. Not just this site, but the attack at Westport site as well.
One other thing. Has anybody ever heard of Harry K. Thaw? The Harry K. Thaw?
I have not.
The you've lived all that time and didn't know Harry K. Thaw owned Kenilworth?
I've only lived here in Winchester
Oh,
for
have you?
less than a year.
Harry K. Thaw was a millionaire from New York City, and he came to Winchester, grew in, after him and Stanford White had their duel in New York City. He came to Winchester, and he owned Kenilworth for 15 or 20 years. You know the movie Red Velvet Swing? Anybody heard of the movie Red Velvet Swing? Part of that was filmed on the porch over at Kenilworth.
If you're interested in movie sites, Gods and Generals had a very quick scene filmed next to the Shenandoah Valley Civil War Museum, facing our wheelchair ramp, which was not there during the Civil War.